It's a ToddCast Time Machine.
It's time to jump into the time machine. It's going to seem like it's light, but in some cases, we're going to go back to December 17th, 1989. A young Chuck Todd was a senior in high school, in case you were wondering what I was doing December 17th, 1989. It was the debut of an animated series for adults called The Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
And who knew what kind of impact this had? I would argue bigger than Saturday Night Live, bigger than Meet the Press, right? Sort of the launched Sunday affairs conversations, right? In some ways, before it was the first place you ever had back and forth on politics in a first radio and televised arena. We had Saturday Night Live, sort of the king of parody. And then there's The Simpsons. And in some ways, The Simpsons are probably as important of a participant into the changing ways that we satirize politics than any other program that has been launched in the history of television. So that's the subject of my time machine history lesson of the day, how The Simpsons rewired politics, media, and animation. And it all started December 17th, 1989. It was a Christmas special. Remember, it was a short on the Tracy Ullman show back in the day. But this Christmas special aired on Fox, and it looked loud, rough, and kind of disposable, right? 35 years later, that cartoon hasn't just outlasted its peers, it's outlasted entire media eras, right? The Simpsons didn't just mock American politics. That's easy. What they did is they reshaped how Americans understand power, persuasion, and performance. And in the process, they changed what animation itself can be. And what I loved about what The Simpsons did is they did it. Look, was there a socially liberal lean to the show? Sure. But it was not necessarily a liberal show or a conservative show. In many ways, it really mocked process, and it was really good at surfacing hypocrisy and surfacing the absurdity of the professionalization of politics. And in fact, one of the early ways they did it, and I want to pop through a few shows that I think where they really were brilliant in what they did. And when you watch these shows today, you think, oh, I've seen this in other places. But at the time, nobody had ever done this before. So Burns for governor. When Monty Burns ran for governor, The Simpsons showcased in the pop culture area that something that we political reporters already knew, we political junkies already knew, that campaigns were a business. The episode, 2 cars in every garage and 3 eyes on every fish. Mr. Burns, he doesn't just run for governor because he believes in anything. He runs because regulation threatens him. That's why he decides he wants to run for office. The telling moment isn't the mutant fish. It's when Burns instructs Smithers to assemble a campaign operation the way a CEO would assemble a management team. And so for the wider world, they understood. Give me a pollster, a media handler, a speechwriter, an image consultant.
30 seconds to air, Mr. Burns.
Now remember to smile.
I am smiling.
You'll have to do better than that.
How's this?
There you go.
I'm going to be sore tomorrow.
Well, we've done all we can, Mr. Burns. The rest is up to you.
Oh, don't worry. By the time this paid political announcement is done, every Johnny Lunch Pail in this whole stupid state will be eating out of my hand. Oh, hello, friends. I'm Montgomery Burns, your next governor, and I'm here to talk to you about my little friend here, Blinky.
And the episode showcased that Burns understood something essential. Campaigns aren't moral arguments. They're simply logistical ones. Now, he loses not because voters rejected his policies, but because he fails to convincingly perform as a relatable figure, right? He won't eat the fish. It's a lesson that campaigns still relearn every cycle. Another episode that I thought did a good job at sort of mocking government and politics, the Monorail episode, and the use of Broadway to explain infrastructure failure. The episode Marge versus the Monorail endures because it understands persuasion better than most policy memos do. The episode is a deliberate homage to the music band Monorail.
Well, sir, there's nothing on earth like a genuine, bona fide, electrified 6-car monorail. What I say?
Monorail.
What's it called?
Monorail.
That's right, monorail.
Monorail. Monorail. Monorail.
Monorail. Sorry. Lyle Lanley is Harold Hill, selling civic fantasy through charm and song. Well, the monorail isn't about transportation. It was simply about identity. Springfield doesn't choose the monorail because it's efficient. I don't think they really needed one. They choose it because it made them feel important. That's how it was sold to them. In some ways, what it was mocking were all the smaller cities that were getting talked into debt financing arenas and other sort of supposedly public arenas or entertainment complexes or concert halls, but they were really about just helping a private entity make money. The episode's genius in some ways was showing that democracy can be overwhelmed by spectacle, not ignorance. In Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington, it remained one of the smarter portrayals of civic education that we've had on television. Lisa's faith in democracy is shaken, but it's not destroyed. The system works barely because exposure still has power sometimes. The episode frequently is cited in academic work, believe it or not, because it models critical citizenship, skepticism without disengagement. It goes back to the essay I had at the beginning of this episode, right? Don't give up. Even when you think the system is rigged and it's messy and it's ugly, there are still ways that you can make the system work.
When America was born on that hot July day in 1776, the trees in Springfield Forest were tiny saplings trembling towards the sun. And as they were nourished by Mother Earth, so too did our fledgling nation find strength in the simple ideals of equality and justice. Who would have thought such mighty oaks or such a powerful nation could grow out of something so fragile, so pure?
Then, of course, there was Sideshow Bob Roberts. Good homage to that mockumentary back in the day. That show went further. Sideshow Bob rigs an election. It's revealed, and he wins anyway. Sound familiar? Episode predicts scandal fatigue. The idea that information alone no longer guarantees accountability.
Army little bastards.
We want the truth!
You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. No truth handler, you. Bah! I deride your truth handling abilities.
Unfortunately, that was something that I think when people watched it at the time, oh no, that wouldn't really happen. Let's just say the episode has aged uncomfortably well. Trash of the Titans, populism, deferred costs, and moral hazard. Trash of the Titans is local politics done brutally right. Homer runs for sanitation commissioner, promising more services, less effort, and no responsibility. His slogan, can't someone else do it? It isn't laziness. It is actually resentment. Once elected, Homer delivers exactly what he promised, and the system collapses under the weight of deferred costs, right? The most revealing moment isn't the failure. It's the response. Springfield exports its garbage to another town. The episode captures a timeless political truth. When costs are delayed or displaced, accountability totally evaporates. Do you hate hangovers? Well, say goodbye to hangovers. Out of Office gives you the social buzz without the next day regret. Their best-selling out-of-office gummies were designed to provide a mild, relaxing buzz, boost your mood, and enhance creativity and relaxation. With 5 different strengths, you can tailor the dose to fit your vibe. From a gentle 1.5 milligram micro dose to their newest 15 milligram gummy for a more elevated experience. Their THC beverages and gummies are a modern, mindful alternative to a glass of wine or a cocktail. And I'll tell you this, I've given up booze. I don't like the hangovers. I prefer the gummy experience. Soul is a wellness brand that believes feeling good should be fun and easy. Soul specializes in delicious hemp-derived THC and CBD products, all designed to boost your mood and simply help you unwind. And if you struggle to switch off at night, Soul has a variety of products specifically designed to help you get a better night's rest, including their top-selling Sleepy Gummies. It's a fan favorite for deep, restorative sleep. So bring on the good vibes and treat yourself to Soul today. Right now, Soul is offering my audience 30% off your entire order. So go to getsoul.com, use the promo code ToddCast. Don't forget that code. That's getsoul.com, promo code ToddCast for 30% off. Look, it was one thing about The Simpsons is after a while, their success at mocking actually made it where politicians wanted to be seen as on the side of The Simpsons, that on the side of the reasonable people, that they weren't the crazy runs. And you've had all sorts of people who have lent their voice. Barack Obama, I think Joe Biden did once, Al Gore, Rush Limbaugh did, I believe. You've had the George H.W. Bush episode when he moves across the street from Homer is really well done, and it is almost in some ways an homage to H.W. Bush. So it was proof, and certainly plenty of media figures participated over the years. Springfield became a legitimate public square. Then, of course, there's the impact that The Simpsons had on what we all watch today, right? I know I'm a fan of a lot of adult animation these days, and we have The Simpsons to thank, right? Think about it. Before The Simpsons, animation in America simply meant kids. After The Simpsons, animation meant tone and not age, right? And what we all figured out was it was easier to see an animated figure tell us an uncomfortable truth than a real person telling us an uncomfortable truth, right? Without The Simpsons, we wouldn't have had King of the Hill, South Park, Family Guy, Futurama, Archer, BoJack Horseman, Rick and Morty. I know I'm leaving a bunch out. You want to tell me your favorites? You want to tell me, what you think The Simpsons did to impact political culture? I'd love to hear from you. And then, of course, there's one of my favorite homages to The Simpsons. 2002, South Park aired an entire episode that might be the most honest tribute of them all. It was called Simpsons Did It. And the premise was simple. Every idea the South Park writers were trying to come up with had already been done by the Simpsons. And the whole punchline of the episode is over and over again, character shout out, Simpsons did it. It wasn't being a mockery. It was simply acknowledgement. It was clear our friends at South Park probably had writer's block that week. And it may be why they went to decide to just stick to parroting in the moment stuff on that front. But that episode captured something every creator understands. The Simpsons didn't just open the door. They mapped the room, right? And they allowed so many other creators to come in and have their own version of this and their own take. An entire generation of writers defined the boundaries of what animated storytelling could do politically, culturally, and emotionally. So The Simpsons, still kicking. They didn't just survive history. They've explained it. They taught audiences how to spot performative leadership, civic spectacle, deferred accountability, media-driven politics, and they did it while teaching animation how to grow up. So that's why the show still matters, and somewhere a creator is still pitching an idea, only to hear a familiar voice in the room say, Simpsons did it.